Well, here we are, everybody. I'm sorry it's late because I downloaded iOS 18 and it doesn't want to let me use my handy little microphone. But here we are, Peyton, after an exciting opening weekend for the Colorado Mammoth. We're going to connect with Connor Robinson in a minute. Now, we found out the offensive guys they've got a film session tonight. So he's probably just now getting out of it. We're going to hit him with an email here very shortly, but sorry for the frustrations. I really wanted to get on at 8 o'clock, but iOS apparently sucks, right? So there we go. First and foremost, before we talk about what was a great game, and we won't talk about this ugly Nuggets floor we're having to watch here on TV right now, what did you think of your first experience in arena hosting? How'd that go?
It was really fun. You don't realize how much you want a team to win until your job is to actually get the fans engaged, because if they're winning, then they're excited, but when you're down, it's a little quiet. So you never realize how much fans kind of impact a game.
You know, I never really thought about that. You experienced both sides because the first half was not great for the Mammoth,
No, I
and the
was
second half was.
yeah, I was like my first time on camera. I'm like, oh my gosh, we're down. Like, this is not going to be any fun tonight. And then it picked up. So it was good.
Well, I mean, look, you've covered this team the last couple of years. You've been there with this, Peyton. You did some of this stuff while you did your internship at Altitude TV and helped with the social media and stuff last year. The Mammoth, that game the other night kind of went the way these Mammoth games go sometimes.
Yeah, I heard from the crowd. We're like, Mammoth are a second half team. So I just kept, my fingers crossed, knowing that since we are a second half team, the crowd would get into it again.
Well, it was a good, fun game, I thought. I'm sure Coach will have plenty of talking points at the beginning. What did you think of the fight? I don't know. I know, look, the fight I think is always interesting. I know that that's not really what the league is about. Once upon a time, Peyton, that is what a lot of people showed up for back in the days of Willie B and all that. Fans used to really get a big kick. Matter of fact, that a couple of guys throwing down, but it was funny because we had our guy John Gallant on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sending Connor the email to jump on as we talk about this. We had John Gallant on, and they broke out while he was trying to report from in between the benches, and so it got a little. We just got, oh boy, and we had to pull away. Did the fans seem to enjoy the melee there the other night?
Yeah, and I was talking to a few of them, and they said they haven't seen a fight like that happen in a while. Like, again, I'm pretty new to lacrosse, so I didn't know if this was a common thing to see some gloves being thrown, but yeah, it looks kind of nasty.
Yeah, for those that don't know, it was so they used to do this a lot because I think this league does appeal to people that love hockey, and some of these teams used to be in kind of minor league hockey towns, and so everybody likes a little throwing down every now and again. But it was wild because it was Dylan and Kurt Milosky, Dylan Ward, our goalie, and Kurt Milosky, the coach of he used to be the coach of Calgary, so now he's the coach of Vancouver. And Calgary and Colorado have a thing going on for a long, long time. I think the first year you were with me, he was still in Calgary, and you saw some of that blood feud, if you will. And so Dylan was apparently talking to Kurt. Kurt didn't like something, and then I can't remember the name. Was it Schubach? I can't remember the name of the guy that came over the bench, basically left the bench to try to fight Dylan, and then they wouldn't have it. And then our guy Zed pinned Beers down, and Beers was upset. And I think Hope got a little bloody. He got his nose bloodied up a little bit. So I haven't seen what they'd call a Donnybrook like that in a while. Because when guys do fight normally, because the league's got some real strict rules. Zed got bitten by it last year, where if you're second guy into a fight, they'll kick you out. It's happened. So it was real curious to see a multiplayer fight like that. So
Are all the players then starting this week against Vegas? No one got like a suspect.
No, because all Zed did. So what Zed was allowed to do, and look, the guy that got the most minutes was obviously from Vancouver. Yeah. I think it was Subak with the mustache. I can't remember for the life of me, but it was. It's okay because Zed and Beers stayed off by themselves. It's when what happened last year, and it was really interesting because we had a fight going on against Georgia, one of their guys he kind of lost his mind. The ref was trying to break up the fight. The guy knocked the ref out of the way, and that's when Zed jumped in and pulled the guy. He pulled him off because the refs couldn't get control of him. And even though technically Zed was helping the refs,
right,
they still gave the suspension to Zed. None of us are real thrilled about it. So Zed made sure that Zed made sure he didn't have that happen again. So as for your job though, how did it go overall, would you say?
I think it went good. I mean, I had a good time. Most people said I looked like I was having fun. I definitely was nervous a little bit. I mean, first game in front of a bunch of fans, and it was a big crowd too. I was surprised for like a Friday night game. So it was fun though. I'm excited to be back again. I'm not back till I think December 21st is the next home game for them. So
yeah, we've got one the 21st. We got another one the 29th. I think we've got a 2:00 game the 29th, so that's a Sunday afternoon. The Broncos, it sounds like the Broncos might be the 28th. I'm really hoping it's a Bronco versus Cincinnati game, so I'm really kind of hoping that one gets moved. So yeah, we'll see. We'll get Connor Robinson jumping in here in a minute. Interesting first game, like we kind of talked about. It was Black Friday. Was the energy in the building what you expected? I couldn't, once you put the headphones on to do the broadcast,
right.
I mean, we heard the crowd. They sounded loud, and obviously we could really feel them in the fourth quarter. What was your read on things, though, as people got here? Was it a little – because I was up at CU that day doing the Buff game, as you know, and that crowd was weird the first half because it's 10 a.m., and they just had their turkey. Was the Mammoth crowd a little bit better, would you say, that night?
Yeah, I'd say it's better. I think most people got their Black Friday shopping kind of done earlier in the day, so it was good. It was a later game for them. But yeah, the CU crowd, the student section was not there.
I think clearly went on vacation.
Yeah, she was like, nope, I'm not waking up at 10 a.m. after Thanksgiving to get to that game.
Well, we'll wait and see. We'll get Connor on here in just a second, but yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what Vegas brings. They go to Vegas this week after that big game. I felt like the offense. Here's what I don't know how to read. The offense last week, they did get going, so that was a lot of fun, but it took them a minute. And I don't know if that's just like first game of the year jitters, you know what I mean? Like last year I kept thinking, early in the year I was like, all right, they'll get it going. And then it kind of was just how the Mammoth played was sometimes I don't know that we ever really got it going the way.
Yeah, it seemed like a lot of penalties. So just like the game stopped a lot. Just felt like it kind of dragged on a little bit and no one could really get going. Luckily, Mammoth, got the win. But it just never seemed like they got their offense just rolling.
Well, we did have some new faces. I was excited to see Will Malcolm. I thought Will Malcolm did a good job trying to fit in. He was the lefty shot. Now, he took a few shots. He tried to create some stuff. We also had Thomas Vella was one of the he got the first goal, and he had that goal towards the end where he took the big hit but scored. I thought Thomas looked good. But our guy, Zed Williams, Zed always looking sharp. He really got things going with that dunk attempt, frankly. So, do you remember a goal? Do you remember the goal that got everybody going?
I mean, I remember Ryan Lee got a goal, and I think the crowd got into it just getting to see him back on the field. So that I feel like was just like that energy boost for the crowd.
Yeah, and look, that's a guy you did get to talk to a few times your first year covering everything for the team. He is a fan favorite. When you're amongst the fans, you probably figure out Ryan's a real good fan favorite. So good old Leeser. We'll have to see how long. Again, he was coming off the injury. I didn't even know if he was going to play because sometimes those things take a minute. But it just was good to see him out there. What I'm going to be real excited for, I know I talked to him after the game. Ryan wasn't exactly – I guess he was saying he's like, I wasn't real sure I wanted to take that penalty shot. They were initially going to give it to Connor Kelly after he had a great night that night. But I think they finally he had time to get talked into it, right? Because we had the penalty shot, then the fight broke out, and feel like it took everywhere.
Yeah.
So hopefully Leeser will be ready and diving across the crease and all that kind of fun stuff again before we know it. So Vegas is coming up. Then they take like a couple week break.
Yeah.
You know, a 10,000. We're see you again. Really great crowd. Were you surprised? The Loud House always shows up, but
Mhm.
I think that they ought to be really proud about the fact that they had so many people there on a Black Friday game. Quite honestly.
Yeah, no, the crowd. I mean, again, I've been with you for a couple seasons, but that was a pretty big crowd. I know they had some of the 300s opened up for some of the fans, so I was impressed, especially for a Friday after Thanksgiving. You really don't know what you're gonna get in terms of the crowd, but they all seemed excited. Just opening night was fun. It was like fan appreciation night, so fans got prizes. That's always a good way to get the crowd engaged, which I've noticed. So it was fun.
Did you have trouble picking the loud ones?
No, I kind of had already like set my eye on a group I knew would like to be on camera and then just hoped that they'd continue screaming when I gave them the prize.
All right, I got to try to. Maybe I need to add a third. Our guy Connor's trying to get in. This is the fun night. Everything went so smoothly on our first episode now, and I'm trying to do everything we need to so this internet will let everybody in. But of course, tonight's going to be the night we have a little bit of struggles trying to pull this whole darn thing off. Um, Anne Marie points out that she missed Joey Capito. Owen Ron is one of the guys that got in there that they were playing in order to try to take some of the place, you will, if you will, of Joey Capito. I think it's going to take a couple guys, three guys, to try to take his place. Jalen Chaster looked good. Jordan Gillis has been really good, you know, doing his thing again. You know how it is. You know this from covering other sports. Whenever you get a new group of guys, and they got a fairly new group of guys, it's going to take a minute for everybody to kind of feel each other out.
Yeah, I mean that's with any sport. That's why I think it was good they got the win for their first kind of game just as a group. It kind of gets that motivation back into the group. But yeah, with a new group of guys, you can't expect a lot again in those first couple games. So Vegas will be interesting. Just again, it's their second game. They're away this time, so it's not in front of the crowd. So yeah, I'm excited for Vegas.
If you guys want to jump into the comment section, we can take your comments. If you have questions, I can try to fill in anything that you'd like to know. Again, I'm hoping we're going to get Connor Robinson in here, but I'm not. I've got no faith in anything. I don't know if it's our stupid platform tonight, which we're kind of being housed by StreamYard. So I'm really hoping StreamYard. I guess I'll send him the invite again, but I don't know. Not trying to promise and not deliver. I promise. We had, for those of you that weren't here last week, we had this great session with our guy, with why am I spacing
Warren,
Warren Jeffrey?
yeah.
Because I'm trying to do 9 things at one time. That's the reason why. But I sent him another invite. We'll see if that'll let him in. But yeah, this all went swimmingly last week, and then I don't know. I downloaded iOS 18, and now who knows? Maybe that just screwed this all up.
No,
So
I've heard so many problems with iOS 18. Everyone's talking about how much they do not like that.
yeah, Apple, if you can listen, I'd just like to go ahead and pull off our show or Google or whoever needs to fix these settings. Because, like I said, I couldn't even use my proper mic that I literally just used it last night for a Bronco one. So I thought the offense, I'm going to get into the offense for a few of the folks there. You know, I thought the right side got it going. Obviously, it was great to see Zed getting going. You know, I think it's still going to take a second because they are getting used to some new roles. Eli was out there. Eli was trying hard. I thought he did some good things. Look, Ryan Lee, we talked about Ryan Lee, Peyton. You know, Ryan, I don't think got all the goals that he wished he could have got, but I think he did a good job of drawing attention. At one point, he went and threw a huge pick and knocked like 2 guys out of the way so Connor Kelly could drive to the net. I told him he kind of shocked me because he ran in there like a bowling ball and knocked guys over. I'm not now again, it's kind of a new role for Ryan. He's usually the one they're setting the pick for, but I just think he knew that Connor Kelly had the hot hand. Their heavy right side they're talking about this year is this is the right hand. You know, I think we may see, we were so used to the Wardle, Connor Robinson, Eli McLaughlin kind of pairing up top. I do think the new guy, Will Malcolm, is going to get his legs under him and he's going to start, contributing the way he did in Panther City. So the left side will probably get going, but I'm not going to be surprised if the left side takes a little more time to fire up and get going compared to the right side. So ultimately, we'll see how long the offense went. But again, another guy that you're familiar with is Dylan Ward. He had a heck of a second half.
Yeah, no, he had a great second half. But I guess like for you, Andy, like you've been with this team for so long, like there's new faces, you have people coming off of injury. What's your goal for the season? Like, what are you hoping?
Well, it's a great question, Peyton, because it's a weird situation because this team, none of us expected them to finish last in the league last year, and a lot of that had to do with injury. Ryan Lee wasn't able to really play a single game last year. I don't think any of us really expected that. I think Ryan hoped to be back at some point. It didn't really work out. Connor Kelly ultimately, I think, is showing you what a talent he is. But Connor Kelly, everybody's got to get used to each other. I think it's always, when you get into a new spot, you're gonna, it takes you a minute to be able to get acclimated to things. One of the guys could talk about that is another star Connor on the team is Connor, our guy Connor Robinson, which I see. I'm gonna try to add Connor. He's in at least the queue, but as soon as Connor gets his camera on, we'll add Connor to the conversation. But it takes a minute to get used to everybody, right? The goal for me would be get back to the playoffs. Let's see what happens again. Get the defense right again. They did and I lean on my guy Jamie Shuchuk, who talked about, and John Gallant, who's with us too, who talked about what they want to do defensively. I'm going to put Connor in, and let's see, Connor, if you can hear us. Connor, you with us? Let's see if Connor can. And now I got to mess with all our form. There we go. That's the formation we want. I'm not quite sure, Connor. There he is. Now he's on another one. Okay, let's add this guy to the stage.
There we go.
Get this one on. There it all is. How are
there
you
we
doing,
go.
man? That's how we wanted it.
A little bit of technical difficulties, but I'm doing okay. How are you guys?
Listen, Connor, I got a board, I got a mic, I got all this cool stuff. I downloaded iOS 18 and it's not letting anything happen. So who the heck knows? We're doing all right, man. All right. What did you think of the first game of the year? You know Peyton, right? You know Peyton. She's the new in-house host. You got to talk to her a couple years ago. But just let us know what you think of that first game.
No, I thought it was awesome. we got the dub first and foremost, so that's the most important thing. But classic Mammoth fashion, going down early and in the first half and then finding our way to claw it back. I know I was talking to the fans after the game, and they were like, "You guys it's not good if you got any bad heart problems to be a Mammoth fan, because we really get you to the edge of your seat and really finish to the end." So it was an awesome overall to get that win at home, the first win after a pretty tough season last year. So nothing but smiles for the boys. It shows all the hard work and how much we hated kind of how last year unfolded for us. So we're looking to change things.
I'll tell you what, Peyton asked me an interesting question as we were talking here, and I want you to maybe go ahead and try to weigh in. She asked me, what are the goals for this year? The obvious answer is a championship. But look, last year didn't go the way any of us thought it would, right? Ryan was not able to get back and play. Tell me some maybe steps up to the championship goal you'd like to see. And talk to me like Connor Kelly. Connor Kelly's a guy that came in, really gave you some presence from the right side. But you were traded here. It takes a minute to get used to a new city. Just talk about the acclimation process and how long it can take to get used to each other in the early going.
No, I think it's different for everyone. I know CK, he's a baller and he does his thing wherever he goes. So it definitely takes a little bit, but I think he's worked in well. And I think the big thing for us and our step to the championship is just staying healthy. And getting the same guys out there consistently, building that rapport. I know it's tough with guys living all across the continent, but just getting that rapport and getting those live reps. I know last year we had troubles with injury. Lisa was out. I was down for a bit. We had a bunch of injuries, so we weren't able to have a consistent lineup night after night. So I think the big thing starts with just staying healthy and staying on top of, the fitness, the training, to make sure that we're fighting for 60 minutes every single night.
Yeah. So, you got the big win of the first game, but you're heading to Vegas this week. What's kind of the tone of the team? What are you guys kind of hoping for in this game? It's the first game with this whole team on the road. So what are kind of the hopes and goals just for looking ahead?
I think it's just carrying the momentum from that second half. I think the first half we were still a little new. I know it's first game jitters. Everyone's a little excited for the first game, especially in our hometown. So I think just carry that momentum. I thought we looked a lot better in the second half, where the ball was buzzing. Everyone's kind of getting touches. The right side got hot a little bit. Vela got hot a little bit, burying those two. So just keeping that momentum going on and really just remembering it's a team game and we're going to be successful if all 5 guys touch the ball. And it's really take care of transition because I know Vegas has got a fast team.
Is it weird at all to be playing this early, man? The games that count, you know what I mean? I'm not used to a Black Friday game. I guess it's the second time in franchise, like the whole history of having a Black Friday game. John Gallant told us the last time this franchise played on Black Friday, they were the Washington Power, man. Like, Mammoth team, we're not used to seeing it this early. Do you like it? Is it weird? What's it like?
I mean, I'll say it's weird, but I mean, it's more lacrosse. We get a couple breaks down the road, so that'll be nice. No back-to-backs this year, but I mean, any chance you get to play lacrosse no matter the time of the year, I mean, sign me up for it. So we're not complaining. We're happy that the season started. I know a lot of us were getting a little antsy come September, October, and then training camp. I know it's nice to see all the fellows again, but there's something different about a regular season game. So if it comes this early, we're not complaining.
Well, we like to have fun on this podcast. So in terms of Black Friday, who on the team would you say is the best gift giver and who's the worst?
You know what? I think our captain, Robert Hope, he's probably one of the better gift givers. I think there's a lot. I don't think there's too many bad gift givers out there. I don't think I'm going to sue anyone here, but I know Hope, he's really good at giving gifts. Krager's pretty funny. I know we do a little Secret Santa team thing every year, and everyone gets a pretty good chuckle when those two guys give their gifts out. So, and then I think last year, I think Lager took home the cake as the best gift of all time. He got Zeddy like a custom cartoon poster, or like the front page of a comic book, and it was a Godzilla turned into Zedzilla. So I thought it was pretty awesome.
That is pretty cool. All right, so I need a ruling. I was going to bring him down there, dude, but he would tear up the courts. He's really kind of a pain in the ass right now. We got a pug last spring, about last spring, and I think I hope all the guys don't hate me after this. My kid's favorite, it's you and Zed, okay? You and Zed are the favorite players. You and Zed they all love you. You know how much my son thinks of you. I think my son was trying to bug you again the other night. But we were debating who to name the pug after. And Connor the pug didn't sound quite right, so Zed got the nod. Is it an honor to have a little dog named after you? Like, we got a boxer, but the boxer was already named because the breeder like wanted to – the breeder was going to stud the boxer, then only one jingle bell fell, so that plan was out. But the boxer already had a name. Like, the boxer's real lean and fit, and that would have been the true honor. Is it still an honor to have a little dog named after you? Is that okay?
I think getting named anything after you is a pretty big honor. So I'm sure Zeddy will be thrilled. Have you told Zeddy yet? Yeah,
I mean, he saw it on Instagram. I'm hoping to get Zed the pug to meet Zed the player at one point. But, again, I was thinking, could we go Krob or, like what would have been the better, what makes a good dog name for you? How could we shorten you to make a great dog name?
You know what?
Are you a human dog name guy?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think, like, I know a couple buddies, they had a couple English bulldogs, and one was named like Fred and Hank, George, just one syllable, just classic human names, just crack me up. I think they're hilarious.
So should we have gone Krob? Is that where we went wrong?
You know what? I think if you put me and Zeddy up against a picture of Pug, I probably look a little more puggy than Zed, but I think you nailed it with Zed. I think that's an awesome name.
Well, I'll tell you this. You ain't taking crap from anybody. I can tell you that much. All right. Sorry, the siren's throwing me off a little bit there. It's like, is that my house? Do we have a problem here?
Is it my house?
Let's talk. No, we're okay. I think we're all good. Look, you two are, I think, in apartments. I just, I got to make sure that something's not going on upstairs that I don't know about. All right, man. You guys are getting back. You're getting into it. What did you think of the fight the other night? Do you like the fighting? The fans like the fighting. What do the guys feel like about the fighting?
I think, well, I can't speak for everyone, but I personally enjoy it. I think it's a good way for the players to police the game themselves. I mean, I got a problem with a big guy grabbing a real little guy and having its way. But I think if both guys are willing and both guys want to, then why shouldn't they? I mean, I think it's a very unique thing, us in hockey, in the sports world in general, that kind of sets us apart from everyone else. So I think it's a great way for the players. I think the fans enjoy it. Well, most of them, but I think I like it, and I think it should stay. And I loved it. I mean, anytime you see Warren and you kind of see that fire in his eyes, it kind of scares you a little bit. So it was nice watching him kind of all the guys, stand up for each other on that 5-man unit by the bench. And I mean, you didn't see any of them backing down. And then you see Zeddy on the ground there, just manhandling, just another, like, it was ridiculous. Like, Zeddy might be the toughest guy in the NLL.
Well, hey man, Beers could. I think Beers was trying to get him off of him, and I'm not trying to besmirch anybody. I'm 50 and not wanting to mix it up with anybody. But dude, if you see Zed, you got to pick a different dance partner, don't you? You got to find somebody different, don't you?
There's got to be a close up on whoever's going after Zeddy in one of those, and just see his face, just like, oh, why did I get this guy? Because just like nobody wants him.
Talk about hockey. Are you a fan of like UFC fights, or is it kind of just you like the hockey ones?
I like the hockey ones. I don't hate the UFC. It's just I play lacrosse every single Friday, Saturday night, so it's tough to watch them and be consistent. But no, I definitely follow it. I got a couple guys that I like and I root for, but for the most part, it's mainly just the hockey fights, lacrosse fights, something that kind of is spontaneous, that it's a little bit different.
All right, are you guys mad when you fight? I talked to, and here's where that comes from. I talked to a UFC fighter once who told me you can't be mad. If you're mad, you're going to make a mistake. When you square off with somebody, are you angry? Is that what led to the thing, or like where's your head at? Or sometimes are you just pulled into it and you got to do what you got to do?
I think it's a little all three of those things you mentioned. I know I'm not the best fighter, so I don't try to get into it. Like you said, you can't fight angry, and I tend to go into those fights as a 5-year-old who just got his toy taken away. I get a little mad. So, but I think it's really just all three of those where, like, it doesn't matter really what kind of mindset. It's just like sometimes it's your turn, like you're to the wrong place at the wrong time, and you got to do it. So I think it's a nice even keel mix of all three.
Are you working on any new shot or anything for this year? Like, do you add something to the arsenal every year?
Hey, you can always get better. You can always work on new shots. I mean, I try to watch Eli in practice a lot, and he throws a lot of change ups and a lot of kind of twisters, and he's tried to teach me, but I don't know if I can ever really get as good as him. But I'm still working on it. We got a couple in the workshop, maybe not yet to bring it to a theater near you, but it's getting there. We're making progress.
Do you what? See, that's a curious answer. When do you know it's ready? When do you know it's ready to break out? When are you ready to use it in a game?
I think it's when you are working on a shot and you don't really think about it and you can kind of consistently hit it. I think you really have to put a lot of effort in getting your shoulders right, getting your body right, really kind of getting your stick exactly where you want it. So as soon as you can do that kind of consistently and get the ball where you want to go, then you can bring it to practice. You can kind of see what it's like in net and then take it back to the old workshop. And then, I mean, if you're not scared to throw it in a game, because those are kind of split-second decisions of once you get the ball, what type of shot you want to do. And maybe some goals it'll work, some it won't. But it's really just having the confidence of, I've worked on the shot for hours and hours, and it's time to throw it. So, I mean, it might work, it might not, but I mean, you don't know unless you try in a real game, right?
Yeah, you can't. Listen, Connor, I was never as good as you. If I screwed something up, I didn't know if I was going to get a play next shift. So, that whole trying it in the next game, you better be damn sure about it. I think what I pay. Before we let Connor go, Peyton, we're lagging a little bit tonight. Do you want to ask me anything before we cut him free?
No, you're good. I'm excited. Like Andy said, I'm the new host of the Mammoth, so excited to see you guys play for the rest of the season. We'll be back on the 21st, so excited.
Can't wait. 3 weeks is too long.
Well, you got next week at least, but you know what? Is Vegas, real quick before I let you go, is Vegas fun? I know that every coach in every sport does not love a trip to Vegas if they can avoid it. Do you guys? Is it ever fun? Do you even? Are you too tired to go out afterwards? Is that not your thing?
No, it's not really like. I mean, obviously, if the guys are going out, I'm going out with them. But no, I think it's going to be. I'm excited for this year because I know Vegas has got the new arena just in Henderson. And it's like 10, 15 minutes outside the Strip. So I'm excited to kind of see their new location. I know I've spoken to a couple guys that are on the Desert Dogs and asked them about the facility, and they said they love it. Like it's way nicer than like it's a cool location. It's closer to where the fans live, so hopefully the arena is a little bit more packed. So I'm excited to check the place out. But no, I mean Vegas is a lot, especially playing on the Strip. So it'll be nice to get off the Strip and really have a little less hectic weekend.
What's the game? You a poker guy? You a blackjack guy? You a roulette guy? Are you none of those?
You know, I'm not a big gambler. If I do, though, I'll shoot craps because it's a lot of fun. It's the one game where you can kind of get all the boys on the table. And really, if we're hot, we're hot. And if we're not, then we can really get to whoever's rolling bad die gets chirped a little bit. So it's a fun, really team game. It's nice when you get all the boys around and you get your own little table.
All right, man. Well, everybody loves you. I'm sure this is not the last time we'll bother you this year. We appreciate you taking some time out and get some rest. And hopefully when you guys come back on the 21st, you're 2-0. Appreciate you, my man.
Awesome. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, let's go 2-0.
There it is, 2-0. All right, that's our guy. That's Connor Robinson. Always great to catch up with him. Appreciate having him on. And we've already gone a little too long, Peyton, but what are we going to do? Man, this I promise everyone this is going to be better. I promise you I'm not downloading iOS 18 to have a podcast ever again. So we'll get it figured out, and I'll be able to use a big boy mic, and hopefully we won't be laggy and everything else. Hey, any final thoughts, my friend?
No final thoughts. I wish I could be. I love Vegas. Wish I could go to Vegas with the Mammoth. That sounds like a good time to me.
What's your game? Do you have a game yet? Are you too young to have a game?
No, I'm not too young.
You're my daughter, so I don't know if I want you having a game, but
I like blackjack. I don't know. It just seems it's not a lot of thinking. Poker, I have no clue how to play. Yeah, blackjack, or sometimes just pull a slot. Hope I win. Normally don't, but it's fun.
Look, if it'll make you feel any better, I'll tell people one more story before we get out of here. I was sitting with a bunch of my friends. Jason Luber, the old traffic guy around town, was one of them. Just a bunch of guys. And like you, I didn't really know what I was doing in poker, but I thought I had a clue. And I think I had like 4 cards in a row that for some reason I thought was something. And I was all proud. I was like, look at this. And I was like, yeah, you have nothing, jackass. And you're out of the game just for thinking you had something stupid. So anyway, I'm with you. If I go to Vegas, any slots is all for me at best. Or show me where, isn't it Fat Tuesdays there on the Strip, right? Where you can get a taste of a drink.
The big drinks. Yeah.
Yeah. That's all I need. We're okay. All right. For Peyton Kraft, I'm Andy Lindahl. We appreciate all of you tuning in. We got more than last week. And I promise you next Tuesday, here's the deal, guys. Tuesday, 8 o'clock is what we're looking at. Follow me on Twitter, Andy_Lindahl. Peyton, what's your Peyton Kraft, but there's some numbers at the end?
Oh, gosh. My Twitter?
You don't even remember? Yeah.
No.
Follow Peyton on Instagram.
On Instagram. That's where I'm active.
Yes. And it's just Peyton Kraft, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Follow her there. We'll keep you updated on the times. Again, because of our stupid screw up, this worked out really well. But if the guys have some intense film nights on Tuesday, we may have to push this to 8:30 instead of 8 o'clock. But we really appreciate you guys tuning in. It's been a lot of fun with the first couple of weeks. At least I hope you've had some fun. And Peyton, we'll talk to everybody next week.
Sounds good. Good to see ya.
All right, man. Good night, Loud House.